Good evening, Lions fans, and welcome back to the Lions Den at the Walker Athletic Complex in Demorest, Georgia, for a contest tonight that is sure to be a showdown between the Berry College Vikings and your Piedmont Lions. Welcome in, everybody. Eric Edmondson here with you, along with Chad Hall, for tonight that's shaping up to be a battle between Berry and Piedmont. This is not going to be the first time these two teams have faced off. It's another chapter into this yearly set between these two Division III squads, but this year, Piedmont looking to make a change because they have started off hot and look to continue it versus these Vikings. Now, as I mentioned, that this isn't the first time these two have faced off, so we have to bring up the previous head-to-head. And to be frank, Berry has dominated Piedmont over the past 7 meetings. The Lions have gone 0-7 in that stretch. So they're looking to exercise some demons tonight against Berry, who comes in after dropping 2 straight to start off their season. So they may be coming in saying, hey, we faced these guys before and we have to beat these guys, so let's come into town and take care of business. Well, not so fast. This is obviously a different team they will be facing, as to quote Coach Jimmy Stevens. This is a bigger, faster, stronger squad, and that squad being led by an aggressive defense and a timely and relentless offense. An offense that has scored 11 goals to this point in the season. Why is that significant? Well, last year the Lions put up 19 goals over the course of the entire season. So starting off hot in the season and looking to start off hot here tonight, here's how the Vikings will line up to face this roaring Lions lineup.
For the starting Berry Vikings, we're going to have Lucas Haritos in net, Isaac Vardy, Nate Doolin, Jacob Antoine, Dylan Block, Lucas Stevenson, Brock Schultz, Nicholas Hamilton, Tracy Moon, Camden Park, and Andy Guzman.
And for the Lions in the net, it's going to be Bobby Wood. Expect a big game out of him. We know he's had the opportunities in the past couple nights, but definitely a test for him tonight. Andre Grant's going to be also back in the defense, along with Nathan Jacome. Delory Mattis will also be back there. Boris Bosick getting the start. Philip Nowak up playing forward. Colin Vogel, Davis Knight, Muhammad Al-Swaid, and Jason Asin, along with Tanner Beam, will be pushing up the offense as we get started here in Demorest. Final huddles between the two squads, and Chad, I know this is your first of the year, but you have to hear through the grapevine that this Lions team is not the Lions team of old.
The offense this year, Eric, is incredible. The Lions, like you mentioned, 11 goals, 2 games, 19 goals all last season. It's a very much improved offense for Coach Jimmy, and I'm looking forward to it. This is my first one of the season, like you mentioned, but why not make it a fun one?
Yeah, and we're getting ready to go here, and certainly these, on paper, are 2 evenly matched squads at this point. Of course, you know Berry has the pedigree of years past. They haven't lived up to it this year, as they've lost both decisions by at least 1 goal, both of them finishing by a 2-1 loss against the Christopher... lost my paper there. But one of the top T3 schools in the nation, along with the Virginia Wesleyan Marlins, Christopher Newport being that first opponent for them. So they have faced some good squads, but unfortunately for them, have not been able to get it done. A lot of fouls have been presented on both sides of the card tonight. Lots of yellows and 1 red, so that goes towards the Vikings. And kickoff right at 6:58, and we're underway as there's a big boot, and immediately the Lions put into the defensive. Jacome throws up the hands there, and immediately a whistle.
And a foul, like you mentioned, that's something that we're going to see a lot of. 31-29, Piedmont, that's their 32nd foul of the season based off the opponent's 29 thus far. It's a rough game, obviously, especially on the men's side of Division III college soccer, but, you know, there's not a lot to be said. Some of them, yes, are legit. Some of them, no. But nonetheless, Vikings with an early opportunity.
Yeah, and they'll be set to take a free kick here early on. Lions implementing a wall on the top right part of the box. Bobby Wood looking possibly to have his first save opportunity of the evening. Not that high of an arc on that kick, just trying to get it in, and the Lions will look to clear it. Big clear there, but it looks like Nowak. Now it's going to be Davis and Asin wrestling for that one. The freshman Davis Knight is moving his way up the pitch with Colin Vogel at his side. Knight has really impressed. He's got 3 goals on the year, and Vogel in midfield passing back around. Tanner Beam entangle with some of the Vikings. The Vikings will opt for a big clear. Grant on the side of that one gets a header and a foul there.
Lions showing a lot of press up front thus far and trying to win all the 50-50 balls they can. Saw Colin Vogel on the opposite side try and win that 50-50 ball and then work it back to move forward. Interesting start from the Lions.
And definitely it's something you've seen early on this year. There has been a lot more pressure and a lot more precedent on winning these one-on-ones, and in some cases the two-on-ones. Big cross into the goal box, but that'll be out. And it looks like Jacome tried to save it towards the end, but it'll result in a goalie kick nonetheless.
Not a bad ball from Austin there. Looked like he was going for the 6-yard box a little bit, but he just overshot it. But that's a lot of promise for the Lions, who are 0-7 in the all-time matchup against the Vikings.
Yeah, these two teams, although you constantly have the revolving door of college sports, but these two teams know each other very well. They know how they're going to play, especially when it comes to the head coaching matchup. So really it's going to be about player management, and we go into player management, talk about the game on Sunday. That was a sweltering contest in which the Lions were able to take their second straight victory over a team named the Owls, as this one goes deep into Lion territory, but Mattis is going to be on that one and looks to clear it. A little bit of a tangle up there, and now the Vikings look to take advantage. The Lions swarming that ball as it'll get out momentarily. But back to player management, a lot of starters got a rest in the second half of that game as there's a foul. Colin Vogel didn't play a single minute past the first half, and Davis Knight got in the final minutes of the second half. So that definitely gets some fresh legs under him, in which Coach Jimmy Stevens knew this was going to be a huge game and a huge measuring stick for the squad going forward.
Looks like we're going to see our first yellow card of the contest. Referee putting him in the book on the far side of the field. Not sure who's in the book so far.
Nathan Jacome receiving that one.
There we go. That's number 4 on the year if you're keeping track at home.
So we mentioned this time and time before, and this is an aggressive defense for the Lions. They're not afraid to get those fouls, but when you play against these better teams, first across by Barry, it's in the box, it's ricocheted off the body of, it looked like Nicholas Hamilton. Ball still up, and Bobby Wood throws up the mitts and makes the grab right out of the air. So he'll set it up for a kick. But again, an aggressive defense, and you definitely want to lower those fouls as you get deeper. Coach Stevens spoke on that a good bit, as he knows that this Berry College offense can take advantage of that easily. Vogel gets the pass from Mattis. Vogel over to Grant, who's got a breakaway. Saw a couple assists by Grant. Looks like he can get another one here. Some tough shoving by the Vikings. Grant pressing on it a little bit more. It's going to get past him. And now the Vikings looking for a breakaway of their own. Jacome on the pressure there as it gets past him and rolls deeper into the Lions defense. Mattis a little bit lackadaisical on that one as it gets past him. But a good job by Boris Bosick, it looked like, to clear that ball. Nowak. Jacome. Ball's going to roll, and it looks like Bobby Wood's going to throw up the hands and say, I got it. So he'll simply just boot it right to midfield. Looked like that was intended for Davis Knight, but intercepted by Viking. Now Austin's on it. Tanner Beam, cross over to Grant. It's going to be a race of the feet, and Grant loses that one. But on the other end, a fellow Lion grabs it. Vogel trying to trap that one, but unable to do it cleanly. Now he recovers it and begins using that speed. Harsh tackle there, and that should result in a foul for the Lions.
Another opportunity for the Lions to heave one up into the box. I believe we're going to see Austin on this one again. Lions are doing a good job showing pressure defensively. There has been a little bit of a mental lapse, especially on that one on the far side. The intended target was offsides, and he was waiting for the Lions player to play it. But nonetheless, Lions got to do a better job of getting out of pressure and getting the ball forward.
Nassim with a big boot. That's going to go over the head of the goalkeeper for the Vikings, Aritos.
Another good ball there from Austin. He's putting it in the same spot twice. He just needs to take a little bit off of it and really put it on that far post.
Yeah, and when you see that replicated twice, you kind of see that the Lions have a game plan here. They know what they're trying to do inside the box, especially when they're presented these free kick opportunities. But like you said, just got to take something off of that one.
Set pieces could be big for the Lions. They have a lot more height this year, especially on the back line, and you can really put some guys forward, especially on corners, to get your head on the ball and put the Lions up.
Tackle attempt by Knight goes awry. Now Bosick chasing that ball as the Vikings deep in the Lion territory. And it looked like Mattis flying through the air, saving the trouble for Bobby Wood. And it ricocheted back off a Viking player, so it will be a goal kick once again for Piedmont.
Lions are doing a good job getting the ball out of their end on defense.
It's something they did so well versus Warren Wilson in the first game of the year, was every time that there was a shooting lane that even had a possibility of being open, the Lions would swarm and pounce, if you will, on that ball and just immediately clear it. It didn't matter how they were getting it done, but they were getting it done and just completely slowed the momentum of the Owls.
Lions are always a very stout defensive team, as we've seen through the first two contests. Only 3 goals allowed. That's not too bad, especially when the offense is scoring more than the opposition. So there's a lot of promise there on both ends of the ball for the Lions, and I think that the Lions team can really make a much-needed improvement from last year.
Big boot by Wood. It's intended for Vogel, who gets ahead on it. Now Knight racing towards it as it gets deep into Viking territory, but it'll be out. And it looks like it's going to be a Lion throw-in. So Philip Nowak getting to that ball on the sideline. And here the Lions closer than they have ever been in this game to scoring. Throw in, and Beam kicks it right off a shin guard. And another throw in. Don't think the Berry College player knew that was a whistle there. Continued booting it. Nowak goes for a cross and is going to be headed out. Ooh, vicious head there by Camden Park. But it looks like it's going to be a corner kick.
Like we were talking about earlier, this is the opportunity for the Lions to go out in front, especially on these set-piece opportunities like we were mentioning. There's a lot of height on this Lions squad. We saw that in the pregame walkout as well. Tanner
Beam, it looks like it's going to take it here. Seen there possibly to get the short pass. Don't know if they'll play for that, though.
Like to see the ball on the 12 or the 6 right here, maybe even go far post.
Beam, good cross inside, and Mattis had an opportunity to get a good header on that one, but just could not line it up.
Not a bad ball in, though. I really thought the Lions could win that 50-50 ball, and like I mentioned, it was right between the 12 and the 6.
Not in the slightest. Some really good set-piece kicks for the Lions to this point, just unable to put it all together just yet. Mattis takes control of that ball, and he'll just hand it off to Bobby Wood. Some good saves. Got to tip the cap on Barry's side to Jaritos. Huge cross, and that's headed out by Bosick. Barry still pressing, though. Grant, Grant, moved on that one and got the Vikings to move it towards middle. Camden Park boots it further inside. Now on the breakaway is Lucas Stevenson. That's down the line, and Al-Swaidi swats that out with his leg, but still not out of the woods. Tanner Beam, and it's going to be a race for Grant. Grant has it now. He's down the left side. Some shoving by Park, and it's stolen away momentarily. Davis Knight, a good slide. Grant's one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and it is a save.
Looks like the offsides flag was up there, and that's a little too...
That is a little bit of a split-a-hair call. Yeah. That was very close.
I mean, luckily enough, there is no review, so we never really get to tell how accurate it was.
Oh, no, you guys at home tell us. Let us know if you think it was offside or not.
That's a close call. It looked like he was onside.
All right, so it's a big boot, but we have seen the precedent that these referees are setting early on. You wonder if they've done their homework. They're not letting a lot of fouls go by, not a lot of rough play between these two squads. Obviously, they know the history between the two. So coming in, you got to wonder, okay, maybe they were like, all right, we got to be a little bit more strict here, or else things might be getting out of hand.
And that's a good thing for a referee to really have the game in his hands, though not necessarily in that sense, but
Vogel getting inside here, but that'll outpace him and roll out of play.
He has control of the game, so he's limiting the amount of rough situation that he has to be put in. He's showing the players that not a lot's going to fly under his nose.
And that definitely, win or loss, can help both of these teams moving forward as they get deeper into their own season, saying, okay, if we can perform well under this strict of supervision, we can definitely do it without it.
Right, and we know that the Lions have a very strong physical defense, so when you get those games where the referee's really letting you play to the whistle, you're more benefited by that. And
like that right there. Mattis, a huge shove there, just trying to jostle the ball loose, but gets called on it. You know, early on it looked like that the fan presence would be dominated by the Vikings, but the Piedmont faithful have come out, and it looks like in full force, filling up the bleachers here down on the pitch and as well on top of the hill. That is really wide of the goal. Free kick attempt by the Vikings going past. So it will be a goal kick for Bobby Wood. Barry also going deep with those free kick opportunities just as the Lions have. Davis Knight gets it a little bit off the head, and it'll roll back all the way to Haritos in the net. Vogel moving in a little bit, causing a little bit of pressure. Now Davis is going to try and do the same. That is intercepted by Beam. Beam inside tonight. Davis, short pass, inside. Trying to move his way through as Alcine. No look pass to Tanner Beam. He goes for a cross, but he might have overshot it.
Visibly frustrated with himself, Tanner Beam. He knows he put too much on that one. Definitely had an opportunity for the Lions, especially within the 20 to 18-yard range for the Lions. Lions can make a lot of noise from outside.
You know, we've hyped up this matchup in the booth, and we've talked about the fan presence, but what goes a lot over people's heads is, hey, the guys on the field, they know about this. They know what kind of a big matchup this is, so obviously it seems everybody might just be amped up for this contest. Huge slide tackle. Good job by Alcine to keep it in front of the Lions offense. Now a huge boot to the corner. Nowak is on this one, but the Vikings racing towards it as well, and they're going to cover Nowak before that he's able to get to it.
Not a bad idea from the Lions. We saw that a lot last season, them trying to go over the top and over the defense to get the ball into their offense. That's not necessarily the case anymore. It seems like the Lions are really having a better sense of finding feet, finding the open guy, and just really playing their triangles, and it's really visually pleasing to watch.
And when you have the speed that they now have, and you combine it with some of the great footwork that Vogel and Alcine and Davis have done at the middle this season, you really have something special. Osweidy back passes it. Another huge boot. Vogel waiting on that one, traps it well. Vogel unable to get that one as it ricochets off the Vikings. Vikings now moving past midfield, but not before Tanner Beam has something to say about it. Ball will change hands once more as Barry looks to reset and find an alley. And you see what's going on here. It looks like just three-man presence all the time as Knight blocks that one.
The pressure from the forwards and the striker right now is unbelievable. The Lions are just not running out of gas, and they're just providing a lot of pressure up top to win the ball back in the midfield.
And Alcine has certainly made his presence felt. He's had a lot of good stops and a lot of good attempted crosses just to get to the other side. He's playing a huge part in that midfield game at the moment.
He's creating a lot of chances for the Lions right now, and all the midfielders are. We see Beam, he's everywhere right now. He's line to line, he's box to box. He's really making a name for himself.
Tanner Beam getting a goal in that game on Sunday. Both of these teams coming in with the same amount of rest, but of course the Vikings having to travel a little bit. So you wonder if that bus ride might be wearing on them, as bus rides tend to do. Grant Lets it get past him. Now Osweidy moves up a little bit. He's going to have to race back here. Bobby Wood's going to come out here and just collect it. An offsides call on the Viking. Looks like Jacob Antone down, clutching the back left leg. He immediately was racing for that ball and immediately went down, and he's still down. Hopefully just a cramp for him. Athletic training staff out there tending to him in the box. He's not getting it stretched out, which is quite unusual if it is a cramp. And looks like he's going to be helped to his feet here. He is standing on his own power, which is, of course, the most good sign of good signs.
Not to speculate, it looks like he already has a pre-existing injury on that left hamstring. It looks like he has it all wrapped up. I see the tape and I see the wrap on it, but it could be a potential re-injury. I mean, hamstrings, they're the one injury that continues to come back and bite you. Yeah,
the hamstring and the oblique always seems to plague professional athletes, and no different down here at the Division III level. But he's gingerly making his way off the field, and it possibly is a re-injury. I wonder if he'll be put back into this game, as it looks like he might be removed here for a minute or two. It is game number 3 of the season for both squads, and Barry, being the school they are, obviously has expectations of getting back to that higher echelon. So he's still making his way down the sideline. Players with both squads will return back to the pitch. Can't get an eye on the substitution just yet. Can't see what number, but when we find out...
Looks like his brother came in for him.
Oh, goodness. So Ryan Antoine will substitute in.
Not sure how true that is his brother, but... We can dream.
It's too much of a coincidence, right?
Right.
Big boot by Wood and a header by Brock Schultz. Now a scene. Getting on that one. No call there. Grant throwing up his arms. Wondering what's going on there. Nowak over to Knight. Knight traps it well. Tries for a slide tackle there. A little dirty on that one, but no call by the referee. Obviously not intentional in the slightest by Davis, just trying to get that ball. Bosick, slide tackle, but unfortunately unable to stop Nicholas Hamilton, who's deep into the corner now. He's wrestling with Madison Grant. Mattis looking to win the one-on-one. Over to Grant. Grant clears it momentarily. It's back inside. Bobby Wood calls off everybody and comes out of the net to make the grab. Vogel on the header. It's in the air. Davis.
Oh, what
pressuring in. Vogel, he's wide open, but couldn't get enough juice on that one. And it falls right into the hands of Lucas Heritos.
And another offside. I don't know. That one was a lot closer than the last one. That looked to be like he was blatantly onside. I wonder if we're watching the same game.
So maybe we're witnessing a game within a game here.
Maybe so.
As that one's crossed out effectively by Mattis, but it will result in a throw-in for the Vikings. Yeah, I'm not sure where exactly that ball was to have the offsides call.
It was too close to tell, really.
Yes, unfortunately, you have only one line judge, only one judge to get the offsides call.
And no review.
No review.
That's the biggest differentiation of the offside call.
But to this point, no harm, no foul. That ball stolen away from Grant.
Right. Both opportunities that the Lions have had have ended up in the keeper's hands nonetheless.
Yeah, and that looked like the best opportunity they had, as Vogel looked like he was going to be able to get enough on that one, but just footed it wrong and just could not get it above the keeper's head, who was setting up for one, just rolling right into his mitts.
Davis Knight's displaying why he's the lone man up top right now.
He really has been incredible for this Lions squad, especially as a freshman. When you get that first start over some of the veteran guys who sit on the bench, you kind of feel like you might have to prove yourself a little. And that ball's out, and the referee did not see it. Oh, goodness. That was blatantly out on the Vikings.
So one thing that differentiates the rule of soccer and any other out-of-bounds game is the full ball has to go over the line. And interesting enough, I mean, it looked pretty close, but I believe there was still a portion of the ball that existed in the field of play.
Excellent tackle by Mattis. Sorry to cut you off there, Chad.
That's perfect. That's a wonderful tackle, too.
There's a shot on goal by the Vikings, but that's going to find its way rolling half up the hill. Bobby Wood retrieves it. But back to Davis Knight. He's got 3 goals under his belt, and he's only 2 games in. His last of which coming on Sunday. That was a pair of goals for himself. And he has scored first both times this season. So if the trend continues, just wait for Davis Knight to get into the box.
I mean, he showed off his playmaking abilities on the last chance.
Excellent bike.
He had a wonderful touch outside of the box and got it to Vogel, but unfortunately the offsides call did exist.
Mattis has really been showing out over there on the left side. You notice Nathan Jacome also on the left side is kind of taking a back seat, and you like to see that as, of course, he was issued a yellow earlier on, but his fellow defenders in there picking him up so they can be aggressive and he can just make the necessary plays. That goes over Grant's head. And the Vikings try to save that one, but that will be out, and it'll result in a Piedmont throw-in. Grant will opt to pass it back. Asin lets it get past him momentarily. Now Bosick. Ooh, good back foot step. Gets it over to Jason, and back over midfield. Vikings opt to pass back, and a big kick from Maritos.
That was a dangerous pass.
Really was.
Especially with the Lions providing as much pressure up front, that's not a risk you want to make.
Looks like to this point it's paid off for the Vikings, however. No call there. A little bit of a bump between Osweidy and the Viking offensive member. Past Grant, that'll roll out. Standing room only here on the pitch. All bleacher seats are filled up, it looks so. Davis on a breakaway, gets it right through. No call there. And the Vikings will retrieve it. That was a little dangerous there.
It was dangerous, but it was as clean as it gets. All balls straight on. I mean, doesn't get any better than that. That's textbook tackling.
Davis has shown he's willing to give that life or limb there just to sacrifice himself for a ball. You love to see that from a guy you have up top, especially when you have as potent as a scorer as Vogel. Jacome made a good tackle there, and he steals the ball away. Only momentarily, though. Looks like that'll be a Viking throw-in. Oh, no, Piedmont throw-in. Didn't exactly see where the flag was pointed on that one. Looks like Nowak making it in, and it's intended for Vogel, but unfortunately goes Barry's way here as they look to make a push inside. Also 80, getting a touch on that one. Header by Beam. Vogel watched it past him. Asin tried to slide tackle. He'll have to get back up, though. Couldn't make the touch on it. Now Barry inside the box as the Lions defense looks to recover, and Bosick, incredible block there. Able to stay sturdy inside, put a leg in front of it.
When you watch the Lions defend thus far, you can see there's one blue shirt and 4 other white shirts. No matter where the ball is on the field, the Lions are doing a very good job of getting back, regrouping, and figuring out where the ball is and making sure every man is marked.
Just really circling it. And that's over the head of every Viking, so the corner kick ineffective here. And you always see, well, not always, but usually see a human wall on a set piece here. Well, the Vikings are having to face a moving human wall, it seems, every time they get a ball deep. Tough there. Grant down on the ground. And it looks like that will be a Lion ball. So Grant back to his feet.
Further out this time, I'd like to see Austin play feet and then work the ball forward. I don't think there needs to be a heave into the box.
He's got to try it, though.
It looks like play is stopped, though.
Did stop. And now it looks like there's a disagreement between Viking player. Looks like Brock Schultz was having it out with the referee.
Referee's not letting anything fly. He really has control of this game, which is nice.
Yeah, he's really just going by the book, calling everything in his domain right when it happens, it seems.
Textbook refereeing.
Hey, like to see it.
Yeah, not a bad thing. Usually don't get the best personnel.
Austin on a line, and that's in! Nathan Jacome soars through the air for a header.
Oh, my word.
He tried it twice. Third time was the charm. A huge cross in the box by Austin, and Jacome on the other end of it. And it's 1-0 early.
We've noticed it. That's what they've been doing the entire time on set pieces and on free kick opportunities. That is a long way out. And just a matter of fact, get your head to it, put it in the back of the net, lines up 1-0.
Just absolutely incredible there. And we mentioned earlier that Jacome got the yellow card and has kind of been playing in the wings a little bit, been a little silent on the defensive end, but maybe that allowed the Vikings for him to kind of slip out of their head, because he really flew in out of nowhere, seized the opportunity, and now the Lions have a lead.
Well, I think with the referee taking the attention off of the game and pausing play, that allowed for the Lion. He kind of crept forward, and he just existed out there, and he comes flying in and puts his head on the ball.
Yeah, you're definitely right on that one, as well as there was that brief stoppage of play before we continued. Now it'll be up to the Lions to add to that and, of course, put more pressure in the backfield. Just make sure they can hold this. They want to make sure that maybe they did kick the Hornets' nest, but they got enough protection to fend off that Hornets.
First goal of his career. That's awesome. I believe. Let me double check myself.
I believe that might have been his second.
Wow, well, there you go.
Either way,
second.
Phenomenal goal.
Yeah.
He caught one on, I believe, Sunday.
Oh, well, there you go. You're making your presence felt.
Seen off a header and a big boot into the sky.
Looks like the Lions made a substitute. Christie.
Pescaru had a goal the other day off a set piece.
That's what he's known for, too. That's not the first time he's done it.
An incredible job by, can't get an eye on the number. It looks like Beam out there. He was able to hang tough on that one. Gets past him here momentarily. Tanner, out of nowhere, gets that ball. He's down on the turf for a moment. He's going to take a rest for a second or two.
Looks like he got clipped on his way by.
Yeah, doesn't look like anything too serious. Just gotta wait it out.
Well, they stopped the clock.
And he's going to get a visit from the training staff. Uh-oh.
I don't think it's anything too serious. I think he just got clipped on the way by, probably in his ankle.
Yeah, it looked like when he did come to the ground, he just kind of looked like he tripped over something. Of course, he probably didn't, just got clipped like you said. But it did look like something to do with the ankle or a foot area. So we mentioned Pescaru, Al-Swaidi out, Pescaru in, and Beam making it to his feet here. He's going to get some help off the field. Now he's walking off with his own power, but with a little bit of a limp.
He'll get the blood flowing. I'm sure we'll see him re-enter.
Yeah. He'll definitely come back in at some point, but no harm in letting him rest for a few here. So Bobby Woods coming out here. He will make the kick, it looks. Oh, so Beam looks like he's ready to get back in there. Just got a little bit of water, and he waits on the sideline.
Nothing like a good water break, right?
Maybe that's what it was all about. Piscaru unable to trap that one as it gets past him. Good header there by Mattis. But a whistle here, and we'll stop play and set up a free kick. Out comes Jarritos. .19 minutes and 17 seconds left in the first half, and we hope you stay with us for the halftime as the baseball team will be presented their championship rings. Davis. That's going to go up against the fence. Thought it had a chance of getting over. And as we mentioned, the baseball team, looks like a couple baseball team members making their way over here. Another substitution here. Looks like James Cash is going to come in for Jacome.
The veteran.
Cash got the past two starts, didn't get it tonight, but that presence obviously valued. Vogel able to get that back to Piscaru. Now it's a scene. Piscaru back to Jason. Asina, huge cross. Nowak on the other side of it, looking to make a trap. He's deep into the corner, and it'll find its way out.
Way to win a corner kick off of that cross.
Really good there.
Nowak is a speed demon on that right side of the field.
Yeah, he's really unsung over there. Hasn't had his moment in the sun just yet, but he's always there, always in the mix somehow, getting the ball to scoring distance.
He makes the plays that don't show up on the stat sheet.
It's always great to have a player like that. That's a good
Great
cross
ball.
inside. And Grant slamming the ground, Mattis slamming the ground in frustration. He had the header, just was a bit too tall for the net.
Oh, that goal of the year candidate if that would have gone in, 100%.
It was an incredible cross, had incredible curve to it as well. It just looked like it was destined to find the net.
He just put it out of reach, and it looked like there was too much momentum coming on. I mean, that header was moving.
Just needed a tap there.
Yeah. Maybe a foot to it probably would have put it by the keeper.
Tackle attempt by Bosick, and just wide there. Bobby Wood, not sure if he got tips on it. Didn't look like it, but it was just wide of the goal.
No, a great shot attempt off the left foot, trying to go for that far post. Wood, he was full extension, and he was just off his fingertips. Bobby Wood, one of those keepers who's not afraid to put his body on the line. We've seen that this is year 2 now. He's incredible back there. He's definitely one for the making for the Lions.
Dylan Block on that shot for the Vikings. Great job. It looks like James Cash, but it's going to fall into the hands of the keeper for the Vikings, Jarritos. And he executes a massive boot. Goodness. Mattis trying to win the header there, unable to get it. And Cash is going to boot it out. Oh, heads up. There's an oncoming car coming down that side street. And Cash maybe almost had to pay a little bit of insurance. Thankfully, though, it caught a tree limb. Back inside. And another huge header. Nowak. Back inside, and Bobby Wood calls everybody off. Makes the grab for himself. Jonathan Ferdinand getting loose on the sideline. He's got a couple goals this year. Asin leaping up into the air. Nowak traps it, but it gets away from him. In comes Vogel trying to stop it. But it's going to be slung to the back half part of the pitch. And now the Vikings pressing a little. And Bobby Wood just tips it right out of his way. But it looks like it'll be a corner kick for Barry. Vikings going for the kick, and it looks like saved again by Bobby Wood. Back inside, lost in the cluster. Lions looking to clear it, and Wood will come out victorious. Traps the ball directly under him. And good to have that one put to rest. Asin gets away to a Barry player. Grant and Beam on that one. Putting the hands up, making sure there's no foul called. As that one's executed down the left side of the pitch. And Vogel tries to save it. And there's the whistle. Vogel racing back inside. This one's high in the air. And thought for its moment we might have had an opportunity on that one.
It always gets close, but never close enough.
So some substitutions here. Grant coming out, as well as Asina looks like. Ferdinand in.
I believe Ruiz as well.
Yes, Ricardo Ruiz in for Jason Asin, and Ferdinand in for Grant.
Oh, not
Big
a
boot,
bad
Pascaru. Almost made the connection to Nowak, but a good job by Haritos to come out of the net and make the grab.
Nowak showing that no outside back is safe against him. He's able to make that run in behind, and he's the deep threat on that right side of the field.
Good clear by Mattis. Ferdinand, the big man, going to make his presence felt. Now in tandem up there with Davis Knight, as Vogel looks like he falls back a little. You know, we've seen Vogel out here with some different cleats. Looks like he's sporting some pink and blue ones tonight. He opened the season with some reds. I can't quite remember what he had on Sunday, but it looks like he's got a flavor for every day. Nowak. Inside to Ruiz. Ruiz looking to win the mix-up, and a good chip there, but just a little bit wide. Vogel traps it, though, in the corner. Back inside and swatted out of the air by Aritos. A number of Lions down that play. And it looks like Tanner Beam is going to be the last to get up from that pileup. Remember, Beam went down earlier. It looked like an apparent ankle injury. Might have got up there favoring the left knee.
Looks like he's going to be all right.
That's booted inside, and that'll find its way out. Not sure if anyone got a tip on that one. They didn't, so it will be a goalie kick. 10 minutes and 25 seconds left here in the first half. As that ball will find its way out. James Cash looked like he was on the end of that one. It'll be Nowak making the throw in. And doesn't look like it goes the Lions' way. It'll be a Berry ball, and they throw it in. Huge punt there. And Bobby Wood makes the save! He was crossed up momentarily, but the ball slowly started spinning towards the pole, and Wood swats in and makes the grab, keeping it a 1-0 game. My goodness, Bobby Wood. He boots it to Ferdinand, who was able to get ahead on it momentarily.
What a save. I'm at a loss for words on that one.
You can't stress it enough. Hats off to the Vikings. That was a phenomenal cross and also a good header, but unfortunately, they just ran into Bobby Wood.
He's a wall. There's not much more to be said.
Looks like that wall might be put to a test again, but a good job by the Lions to clear that one. Vogel taking his time with this ball here. Now tries to make the tackle. A good one, as it'll slow up the momentum of the Vikings momentarily. Vikings playing near the line. Vogel on this one. Back towards the middle of the field. Racing in, Davis Knight. Able to execute a clean steal. Now Tanner Beam racing. He gets it over to Knight. Knight tries to get it inside to Ferdinand, and it'll be booted out. Vogel traps it.
Tons of time for Vogel on the near side
of Camden Park. Vogel taking a moment here. Another substitution. Danny Castro comes in for Tanner Beam. And immediately gets an opportunity here. Vogel over to Ferdinand. Nowak on the right side. Goes for a kick, and it's wide.
Couldn't quite wrap his foot around that one. That had potential to be a little near post, but couldn't get his foot around it. Nowak continuing to show why he's the outside winger on the right side.
Yeah, definitely you can't sleep on him if you're any defense. Cash is on that one, and he gets it to Wood, who promptly kicks it back in just so he can get himself some time to climb back into the net. No call there. Lions lining themselves back up in the backfield. All becoming defenders. The only two up front, Ferdinand and Knight. A little bit of a different formation than what they've ran with here in the past couple days. Usually it'll be Vogel sitting up there with Knight. But Ferdinand getting that role here tonight. That'll be out, and I believe it'll result in a corner kick. Around 5 minutes left as the sun sets here in Demarest. Lights have been on all game. It's been a very cloudy evening. But we will enter nightfall soon as the Vikings set up for a corner kick. Header by Mattis. Gets it out here. Vikings looking to chip it back in. Guess who's on the other end of it? Go on. I'll give you a few minutes at home. Okay, I can't wait anymore. It's Bobby Wood. Ferdinand trying to make his breakaway there, but it'll get back to the goalkeeper before he can make any pressure. Collision there. Both men stay upright.
That's exactly why Ferdinand's up top, is because of his length. He's able to track down those balls. He gives the Lions another big target up front.
Yeah, and you have those tall targets like Grant, Mattis, and Ferdinand now. And we saw with Mattis, he was unable to put it in, but he used that height to really soar above the rest of the crowd and have that really good chance on the corner kick to head it in. So possibly in future set pieces, might be seeing it with Ferdinand.
That may be the catalyst for the Lions offense this year, is very well established set pieces and different opportunities that they're going to have on various free kicks, corner kicks, the whole nine. The Lions are definitely a deadly offensive team in the CCS this year.
Certainly might make people turn their heads and say, wait a minute, is that Piedmont? But hey, times are changing. So are the Lions, and they're looking to make a scoring change here as it gets deep into Viking territory. Knight tries to get on that one, but he gets past him. Now Ferdinand racing towards the ball.
Looks like Jackson Shirley made his...
Shirley in for Pascaru. And on the Berry College side, it is Ben Hawk for Dylan Block. Effective tackle, but it won't go the Lions' way. Now with 3 minutes left, the Vikings might be starting to press here. They really want to at least tie this, of course, before we head into halftime. But if you press too much, the pressure just goes back onto yourself.
Lions can't concede before the half. They need to erase any sort of momentum that Barry's creating towards the later end of this first half. And if the Lions can get a big save here, they can really just wind down the clock and take it into the break, leading 1-0.
Of course, you have Wood back there, but really need the defenders here to step up. Looks like they're up to the task. Good clear by Mattis. Knight trying to win the one-on-one. Gets it through. Castro to Davis. Back to Davis after it went to Castro, and tough fall there. Andy Guzman down on that one, clutching the leg after he got into a tangle with Knight. And the training staff will come out and see if he's all good. I mean, he's up standing and walking around. He seems to be okay. He'll give him a thumbs up, and Guzman returns to his position. Vardy puts it into the box. Lions racing for it, and a header by Barry. We're tied. So that foul correlating to that goal. We talked about the fouls, and this one came back to bite the Lions.
Barry did a wonderful job slow playing the free kick. They played it close to the ball, and then they went in for the cross, which, that hats off. That's a wonderful way to draw it up, and the marking on the backside was just not enough as the Lions let one slip through.
So Ben Hawk on that one, so he comes in and immediately makes his presence known. Now with just a few minutes left, you have to think maybe Barry might take the foot off the gas pedal here momentarily, and it'll settle with perhaps a tie moving into the half. But can't get complacent on the other end. A minute 30 as the Vikings set up for another corner kick. Lions cannot allow a snowball here. Off the shoulder and cleared out. Vogel, he's open, but a clear there. Ferdinand. Back passes to Castro. Knight has struggled up on that one. Now the Vikings trying to break through here. It's down the right side. Bosick. That's inside and able to make the grab is Bobby Wood. So we wind down here in the final seconds of the first half. Vikings still pressing inside. High touch there. I don't think it got his hand. And with just 8 seconds, looks like we're going to enter halftime at a tie. So not the finish you wanted, but again, hats off to the Vikings. Like you said, that was just a really good play by them, but unfortunately the Lions unable to shore up there.
Lions did a wonderful job in the first half. If they can replicate their first half successes in winning those free kicks, making sure they get the corner kicks, they've made the opportunities without a doubt. The Lions just need to keep the foot on the gas and just continue to get the ball forward, win the balls in the midfield, and clear the ball in defense, and that's your recipe for success moving into the second half.
And like we said earlier, we are going to have a ceremony here. We'll read them out over the air for the CCS Championship baseball team. Won it last spring, honored here tonight. So when we come back, I have that list for you. At half, 1-1.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to recognize the 2023 Piedmont baseball team as they are presented their CCS championship rings. Last season, the Lions captured the inaugural CCS tournament title, beating Maryville in the championship 3-2. Piedmont's own Colton Hicks was named tournament MVP after hitting the game-winning solo homer in the championship. Join us in congratulating the following members of the team as they are given their championship rings. Number 0, Cole Ellis. Number 1, Tyler Nelson. Number 2, Sky Willis. Number 3, Colton Hicks. Number 4, Jack Gilsonen. Number 5, James Whitmer. Number 9, Zeke Schwartz. Number 10, Owen Helgeson. Number 11, Nathan Mix. Number 12, Cody Funk. Number 13, Matt Dupuis. Number 15, Isaac Molinak. Number 16, Adam Mativier. Number 19, Kelton Kieschnick. Number 20, Garrett Burton. Number 21, Jackson Randolph. Number 22, Bodie Eilertson. Number 23, Trace Kate. Number 24, Mac Barton. Number 25, Grant Olson. Number 26, Carter Ballstat. Number 27, Kyle Carlson. Number 28, Matthew Turner. Number 29, Carson Huber. Number 30, Justin Manis. Number 31, Nathan Boyce. Number 32, Dalton Anderson. Number 33, Carson Stravinskas. Number 34, Cruz Molinix. Number 35, Tyler Goddard. Number 37, Braden Sims. Number 38, Lucas Tritt. Number 39, Sean Bailey. Number 42, Tyler Roon. Number 43, Aiden Cooney. And number 44, Zach Courtright. Athletic trainer, Gabby Lauder. Assistant coach, Heath Waldrop. Assistant coach, Luke Harris. And head coach, Justin Scaly.
Welcome back, everybody, and before we start, a big congratulations to the Piedmont baseball team once again for winning their inaugural tournament. Haven't seen those rings in person, but I can see the reflection from the field. They sure look dazzling. So as we enter the second half, obviously tied here, a last-minute goal, not last minute, but the last final-minute goal for the Vikings have tied us up. And digging through a little bit of the stats here presented at halftime, you definitely see, look, the Piedmont Lions need a little bit more on the shooting side. They have been outshot by 5. 10 shots for the Vikings as opposed to 5 for the Lions.
Lions are still doing a good job of creating chances. Those offsides calls definitely hurt them, especially on padding their shot total for the half. But nonetheless, the Lions are continuing to get the ball forward, and they're pressuring the outsides, they're attacking the wings, and they're owning the midfield so far, and defense is stout. So there's not much more you can want as Coach Jimmy Stevens and his staff. But moving forward, I think the Lions have a lot to play for, and I don't see why they can't come out and dominate the second half.
They certainly have the Vikings in close sights. In fact, they're neck and neck at this point in the scoring area. And you look back towards the end of that first half and you notice a little bit of recycling going on. Some guys came in, some guys came out there. Definitely getting some fresh legs onto the pitch for the Lions. And the Vikings, they played a good bit of their guys all the way through, apart from some guys that had to exit due to an injury or two. So we'll see if that comes into play at any time as we get ready for kickoff.
Coach Stevens he has a lot more depth this year than he did last year. He has a lot of guys he can cycle through now. Because last year you'd see the same 11, 12, 13 guys play, and now, I mean, through the first half he's played 17 people, which is huge, especially in Division III.
So we'll start off here by a goal kick for the Vikings. Cerritos on the end of it. He's lining up all the way back. He's going to get a run and start. There he goes. And it's really booted towards the left side. And Beam just go ahead and cross that one out. It'll be a throw in for the Vikings. Bosick on that one, trying to get it away. Now it's going to be up to Madison Jacome to swarm it. And Mattis tries to get it over to Grant. Did he get it before he goes out? And I believe he did. But the Vikings flying in will put that one out. So it'll be a throw in for Piedmont. Vogel. And again, out.
First thing to notice from seeing the second half begin is Barry's putting a lot more pressure on the ball. They're stepping to their man, and they're trying to create distinct one-on-one opportunities defending.
Incredible tackle there by Knight with a good pop-up slide at the end. Bosick. Vogel slipped up there, and the Vikings taking full possession. Down the left side, Mattis measuring, trying to find an opening to steal this one away. And that'll get off of him and get put out. So seeing a little bit, as you mentioned, there's definitely a change in Barry's approach here. They're a little bit more clumped together than they were in the first half.
It's a lot like we saw for the Lions, especially swarming the ball and making sure there's odd number situations for the offense.
That's definitely by design. Should be a corner kick. Good corner there by the Vikings, but able to get put out by the Lions, and Bobby Wood collects that one. Brock Schultz on that shot. Vogel tries to get it a long cross to Grant. Maybe a little bit too long. Also 80 back in the game. Jacome trying to win the one-on-one on the other side. Asin moving his way up to that ball, but he's going to watch it go to the other side of the pitch. Deep into Lion territory. Noack. Vogel moving his way forward, getting into his usual position of being up front. Barry executing a lot of back passing here, trying to get the Lions deep within their reach. That way they can possibly go for a long cross. Muhammad Al-Swaidi gets it back to Basic. Boris all the way back to Wood. Mattis. Huge cross here. This is intended for Grant. Grant heads it. Ball will roll out. Just towards the corner. Not into it though. This will be a throw in for the Lions. Grant will take this. Knight wrestling with it. Grant in the box, goes for a slight cross, and it's booted way out by the Vikings. Mattis shoots it right back inside, but Barry on that ball quickly. Good attempt there by Al-Swaidi, but a little late on the slide, and it'll be a foul.
Lions did a very good job of letting that play develop down in the corner off of the throw-in, and found it was the right pass to make. It was on the ground. It was a hard pass to about the 12 to the penalty spot, and allowed for a 50-50 ball right in the middle, but it just ends up being cleared away by the Vikings.
You'll definitely see those time and time. Going for a free kick here. It's pretty deep. Goes over Grant's head. Mattis hits it and allows it for it to be booted way over the top of the goal. Wood requests a ball, and he'll get it for a goal kick. Back over the midfield line, Jacome. Noack. The Vikings have really just been kind of handed it off. They'll move up maybe 5 or 10 feet and hand it off to the next person as they look to control the possession game here in the second half. Appears we set up for a corner here.
It looked like he pointed initially for it to be a goal kick, but
header by Al-Swaidi. Kick there. Tried to just go ahead and hit a nice clear, but fortunately enough, Bobby Wood will collect it as it got put back into the box swiftly by Barry. Down the line and out. Lions seemingly looks like they're just on their heels momentarily, trying to figure out the Vikings' game plan so they can adapt to it better here in the opening minutes. Mattis a header.
offsides.
Another one of those. I believe 3 offsides calls tonight.
2 for the Vikings.
That's towards midfield. Bosick moving in on that ball. So is Tanner Beam. There's that aggressive defense, that 2-on-1 that the Lions like to implement. There's an opening. A lane perhaps for Vogel. Vogel chips it over. And still wrestling for that ball he is. He pushes in. And foul there. Or is that an offsides once again?
It was a foul.
Okay, wasn't sure. Sometimes the way they blow the whistle, it's a little messy on the ears.
Vogel just clipped him on the way by after he lost possession.
Nah.
It's out of bounds.
Was going to be. It is now. Like he had both feet in the air when he made contact.
I think the ball just crossed initially, just entirely.
Okay. Beam moving in on it. Gets past Nowak. Vikings momentarily unable to trap that ball. And that'll be out. It'll find its way over the fence. Barry taking a little bit of time here before the next throw in. So that goes in favor of Piedmont.
A legal throw in. You don't see that a lot.
No, you don't. Look at a little funky coming right out of the hands.
Looked like the referee got him for not going far enough back.
Maybe. Barry in control of this ball as they look to pass it back. That one a little awry. Davis Knight trying to get there, but a huge clear. Bosick handles the header. No, cross there, and Jacome traps it. Both men still racing for that ball. So a lot of just aggressiveness on balls on the line here in the second half, as we've had more than, I would say, 3 throw-ins, if I'm counting correctly. So just really trying to gain possession of any part of it. Both of these teams really going for it, and look at that, another one.
Yeah, the ball's staying in the field of play, which is something you enjoy because it's making the game go by quicker, and another throw-in violation right there. It's 2.
Maybe they've got an over-under going.
Maybe so.
Another one there. Oh, man.
I think it was set at 2.5.
I think they got it.
They're getting close.
The keeper, Haritos, handles that one, and it's in midfield. Grant now trying to find opportunity on the right side. Looks like he's going to find Jason. Jason in the corner.
Oh, my goodness.
Hassan pressing through, and it's booted out. Really good opportunity there by the Lions.
Showing off some fancy footwork down there in the corner. Be able to split 2 defenders and still get the ball off into the middle just to be cleared away for a Lions corner.
We've seen that a lot from Hassan here early on in the season. He's really been able to control the midfield game with his fancy footwork. And it paid off right there, hopefully, as the Lions prepare for a corner.
Hassan's a huge part of the Lions team on both offense and defense. He does an excellent
on the ground, Grant hands it off to Al-Swaidi, and leaping into the air, making the grab, is Haritos.
Excellent ball back in by Al-Swaidi right there.
Looks like we have another Viking down on the ground here. Didn't see what he went down with. Not sure what's ailing him on the left side. And, ooh, is that a card flashed?
That is, yeah, he is disqualified.
Looked like a red card right there. That looks like, is that Davis Knight? Oh, goodness.
Very well could have been.
If that's Davis Knight, then that puts the Lions behind the 8-ball here for the rest of the match, as we know how much he means to this offense. And, of course, it means they'll play a man down.
Looks like they got to play with 10 men. But, I mean, Vogel up top as the lone striker is not the worst thing you could ask for.
Not in the slightest, especially when you have someone as potent as Asin just waiting there. So Knight will get an early exit. Not what anyone here at Demarest wanted. But the Lions have to play the hand they're dealt here. And quickly the Vikings looking to take advantage. But a good job by Mattis to block it. Vogel trying to get there in time, but it'll be intercepted. This one well past him here. We've seen that a lot in this game, maybe putting a little too much pop on these kicks. They're just going right past someone that they're trying to get to for the Lions. Something fancy there by the Vikings. They're going to get it in. Bosick looking to out-fancy him. Going to roll out. Looked like Mattis and Bosick both leapt up trying to get that ball, and Bosick went down on the turf after. They'll exchange a low 5 as they get back to action. Corner kick being set up here for the Vikings. Here we go. And it's headed out by Piedmont. So we'll set it up again. That was all the way towards the back where the Vikings didn't have a lot of presence. But they'll get a different angle here as they move to the backside of the pitch towards the back corner. Now they're more clustered. And an excellent head will clear the ball. Vogel still up there waiting. Jacome. That gets past him momentarily, and Mattis, an excellent tackle, will get it out of bounds. Man, Mattis has been putting on a really good brand of defense all night long.
That's a risky tackle in the box, but nonetheless got the ball. Barry's bench did want the foul, but nothing to give there.
It was a very harsh slide, a very violent slide, but a by the book slide. Just a really good tackle there by Mattis. But the Vikings, another opportunity here. And it looks like a Lions going to exit the game here. Looks like Bosick is going to come off the pitch. So we'll still wait here as a substitution will be made. Still waiting on the official word. James Cash coming in for Boris Bosick. High cross towards the backside of the box. Mattis and Cash will get it back to Wood. We'll see if Bobby can take advantage. A huge kick. Vogel's intended, and it's off the head of the Viking defense. Piedmont has got to start getting that ball back over the midfield line. The Vikings have been suppressing them on this half, and they're another good tackle. Just really unable to press through. That's put out again. Shorten up those passes maybe a little bit and open up some avenues a little bit more to make the connection to Vogel, who we know can burst that nitrous any point he wants to and really make a breakaway.
Possession of the ball is going to be crucial going down the stretch for the Lions, especially being down a man, playing with 10 men for the remainder of the contest.
And this is the pill that the Vikings had to swallow a match ago for them. They received a red card. Ball still in the box, but a rather easy one to take for Bobby Wood. He'll let his defenders fan out in front of him. Andre Grant races on that one. Vogel had it momentarily before it was stolen away yet again by Brock Schultz. And not an unfamiliar sight. A ball deep into Lion territory, deep into the corner. Mattis tried to clear it out. Cash with a header. Still looking to make sure that ball doesn't get anywhere close to net. Huge chip shot there, and a header will roll wide. Dylan Block tried to put that in, tuck it in towards the left side of the net, but just a touch too left.
Great display of sportsmanship right now.
Block still on the ground, it appears. It's like that left leg is cramping him. Wood, Jacome, and it looks like Cash helping the player as the training staff makes their way to this end of the pitch. So we'll have some stoppage here momentarily. And Chad, just what are you seeing here from this Lions team that we saw in the first half that we're not seeing here?
It seems like the Lions are on the defense part of it right now. They're playing a lot of defense right now. They're not able to get the ball forward. They're not finding feet, and they're not applying as much pressure. And frankly, they can't because they're down a man. You're losing that extra guy up top, and there's not as many reads to be made ahead of midfield. And the Lions just have to they need to possess the ball when they're able to, get out of their own half, and just really make the Vikings work for it. As of now, I mean, obviously it is tied, but the Lions got to just continue to keep their foot on the gas. They need to continue to get forward and stick and go back to their first half game plan.
And of course, you can't stress enough as Block gets up from that one and begins making his way off the pitch. But you can't stress enough the importance to the potency of this offense that Knight has. But this is a team sport, and it's going to take some other guys to step up here. Obviously, a different formation, what with the single striker now up top. But the midfield game has to be present, and it seems as though every time they try to get it across that midfield line, they're running into a pair of Viking defenders, and Vogel just unable to really steal that ball away and go on a breakaway. No fault to him. It's just a tough Barry defense.
Right, and the Vikings are going to continue to send two to the ball every single time because they have the ability to, and they're able to create the chances and make sure that they apply the pressure that's necessary. They're not overextending at all. They're winning the matchups. They're winning the ball in the midfield, and they're able to attack and create chances. But thankfully, Bobby Wood's been stout back on the goal line.
Yeah, we knew he might have a really big role to play in this game. So far, he's only let one get past him. His counterpart on the other end of the pitch has also been up to the task. Bobby Wood lines up a long shot. Vogel unable to get the header on that one. Al-Swaidi. This ball intended for Al-Swaidi on the right side. can't see into the corner. Looks like a win at the moment of the matchup for Piedmont, but the Vikings steal it away. Good job by Bobby Wood to come out a little bit. Instead of grabbing it, just keep the ball on the ground, keep the momentum rolling. So that one's punted all the way to midfield. James Cash as well as Tanner Beam trying to get on this one, and it'll be put out. Quick throw in there by the Vikings. Another long shot. This one into the box, and he's offsides. So now the calls are evened up in the offside department. 2-2.
I believe that's 3 now for the Vikings. Yes.
They get 2 this half then? Or two more this
right. Because the second one on the Lions didn't count because the goalie did.
Right.
The ball.
Okay. So now the Vikings playing back in their territory a little bit, but about to cross the midfield line. They're going to. And that'll get past the Viking there, and James Cash step out for a moment. Not sure who's going to take this throw in. Looks like Jacome will exit here. So Boris Bosick back in the game. Also, Philip Nowak coming out, and Pescaru finding his way onto the pitch. Vogel. Ahmed racing down the line for this one. James Cash is going to be taking it out. Cash to Grant, plays it off a knee. Or excuse me. No, Grant. Grant was the right one there. Vogel.
Oh, it's a great ball.
There's a good one. Pescaru looking to get on the other end of that. Crossover and blocked up well by the Vikings. Grant looked like he might have had an opportunity to get in there, but Barry cutting him off beforehand. But a great set of passes there by Vogel and Pescaru.
The diagonal balls through the back line of the Barry defense they've been stellar for the Lions right now. Cutting
really deep. Just unable to find the end result to this point. But keep it up. Law of averages will play out. Grant inside. Vogel's measuring it. Vikings will opt just for short passes at the moment. There's the long one. Too long, though. And Bobby Wood on the other end of it. Pick it up before Barry can think about rushing in on him. Huge high pass off the chest of Vogel. Grant plays it. Grant tries to get it inside, but unable to find anybody. El Switty, wonderful steal. Now Pescaru trying to dice his way up the middle. The ball gets loose momentarily, trying to steal it away. They'll play back a little. Beam over to Grant. Vogel back over, getting deep into the corner. And is that another offside or is that a foul?
Just a foul.
So a foul on the Lions. So Piedmont's been able to kind of get the gas back on here and get a lot of pressure on the other side, but they've kind of had to play back and forth with the ball just getting deep into their territory. Just constantly stifling their momentum, the Vikings are.
Piedmont's done a very good job of applying the pressure only with 10 men. That swing of about 3-4 minutes where the Lions were in the offensive half, that's exactly what they need. They just need to find the balance of being able to defend and move the ball forward when it's necessary.
Exactly right on that one. Would definitely like to see more of that here. As we got about 20 minutes and 10 seconds left. Substitution for the Vikings, Lucas Stevenson in for Nathan Carlson, as that's going to go well behind the head of Wood. Cash down the line, trying to get it to Grant. Grant, a really good job to leap into the air and trap it. Grant towards the middle and intercepted by the Vikings.
Grant's having a tough time getting in the middle of the ball. He's on top of the ball too much. That's why he's pulling all these passes to the left instead of he was trying to get to the feet of Vogel right there, but he's just getting on top of the ball right now.
Maybe a little in between on the passing night, but Grant has been everywhere.
Yeah, he's done a great job for the Lions.
Little cross-up step there. Cash able to drive the runner out of bounds.
Incredible defense going towards the end line right there. Looks like we're going to see a yellow card. Another one?
Ref will get his book. Didn't quite see who that yellow card was applied to.
I think it was the Barry captain.
We'll see here
Tracy
in a moment.
Moon. Yep.
Exactly correct there, Chad.
If you're the captain, you can't talk to the ref, especially in a demeaning manner. Yes, the captain should be the only person on the field to talk to the ref, but you can't do anything demeaning or you're going to get carded for it.
We've seen multiple occasions tonight, this ref just not having it with any of these guys. Ball getting deep here into Piedmont territory. Good job by Mattis to stifle momentarily, trying to wrestle that ball free. No call as Mattis hits the turf. He's back up on his feet though.
Mattis has been incredible for the Lions.
On Sunday, when the rest of the starters came out, I'm not sure if it was the grand plan of Coach Stevens or if it was by play request, but Mattis never exited, and oh no, he's down on the turf right now. He is very frustrated, taking off equipment here and waiting for the training staff. And no question about it, he's immediately coming out of the game. Mattis was in that entanglement with the Vikings. It was a 2-on-1 near the corner, so he tried to wrestle that ball free. It looks like he's walking off just fine, but he was very, very frustrated, very animated after he hit the ground there, and he knew he had to exit the game.
Not too sure what happened. It looked like after the scrap in the corner where it was two Vikings against Mattis by himself, but I'm not 100% sure what it could have been. Maybe another ankle, but I'm not 100% sure. He could re-enter at any point. It looks like the training staff is looking at him right now.
Of course, it might just be maybe slapping some athletic tape on it, but you don't usually see a player get very animated.
Well, for him to not go all the way to the end of the bench and be up near the coaches, I think is a really good sign.
Most definitely.
He might just be visibly frustrated after that last play, believes he could have done something else, but we'll have to see moving forward.
And like we said, he seemed to be okay. He was walking off just fine, and here he's grabbing the water bottle, getting him a few sips, And he looks like he's getting ready to enter back in.
Looks like a lot of the players are just dealing with cramps and I think it's just fitness issues at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, definitely maybe shaking off a little bit of rust from the long off season.
I mean, 3 games in 5 days also doesn't help, especially as long as matches are.
And especially when your body is not used to doing that for the last couple months.
Right.
When you think you're okay, and maybe your body's just saying, hey, come on, ease up now.
But it just comes with time, and I know Coach Stevens really gets his guys in the correct shape they need to be in, especially to play long minutes of any given game.
Back to the action here is Beam. Looks to fancy up here. But he back passes Wood. He's going to have to hurriedly clear that one.
Great tackle there by Al-Suwaidi to win that one in the box and buy the Lions some more time.
That one gets deep into the box, but no scoring opportunity to this point for the Vikings. They save it in the corner and shoot back in. Window still open. Beam wrestling for that one. A good tackle. Good touch by Cash, if anything, just to disorient the Vikings for this next pass. Deep in the corner, and Bobby Wood having to block that one out. And my goodness, a great job to clear that ball out.
It was an excellent save by Bobby Wood on the goal line.
He had the save, and then the ball got past him as he was unable to really recover in that clump of Viking and Lions. But Barry still pressing the offense as another player goes down. And the referee, it's like talking to Tanner Beam. Beam appears to be pleading his case.
Beam was slow to get up on the last play, and seems like the referee's just not buying it. He's been everywhere. He's been to every ball in the midfield. He's getting banged up this game.
And Beam was down in the first half. He was having some trouble getting up, and it looks like he's going to have to be tended to by the medical staff. So it appears, at least to this point, nothing serious for either squad, just cramps and just maybe some weak ankles that will certainly result in bruises in the morning, but really just a very physical game played by both sides, just as we expected coming in.
A lot of cramping. The weather is totally different than what it was this past weekend. It shot up into the mid-90s out of nowhere after, well, obviously the back end of the hurricane weather starting to get up into the mountains of North Georgia, but 2 totally different atmospheres, and I'd imagine tomorrow during the women's soccer contest we'll be taking some scheduled water breaks throughout the game.
Yeah, we definitely got hit with a dose of false fall that Georgia's very famous for. Should I say infamous?
Yeah, I mean, you can't get away from it. It's almost inevitable. It's like, yeah, it's finally here, and then it's just next second out the window, which it hurts, but I mean, we're just a couple weeks away. We just got to hold on for a bit longer.
You can go north, you can go south, but you can't escape the heat and humidity.
Exactly. It's really bad, especially right now. I mean, it's got to be probably mid-80s right now.
And the air has to just be acting as tinfoil. Just put in the oven.
78 right now, but the humidity is 70%.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And it's 9 o'clock. It's pretty frustrating.
It looks as though Beam exited the game.
Will he be back? We don't know.
Grant's still on the sideline. He's still wearing the blue practice jersey, but Ricardo Ruiz in Beam's place. So you'll see the number 19 now crossing the midfield line. And the ball finds you. Immediately thrust into the fire, trying to win that one-on-one. Big cross by the Vikings. And a cluster of players. No one gets that ball until it exits the box. Vogel's racing in. Tried to find an opportunity there. Jacome on the header. And a huge kick there. Looked like a scene. Vogel plays it off the hip. Colin tried to get it past the defender, but it gets blocked right past him. There's about 14 minutes and 30 seconds left. And just speaking of right now, this is definitely the contest that we imagined, especially with this new Piedmont team kind of resurging, if you will. Just a very physical game and a very close game, and really one at the moment between two keepers who have been on their game.
And it's been back and forth all night. We've seen it from both sides. It's been Barry all the way up, Piedmont all the way up, and Piedmont's still doing a good job to hang on with 10 men right now.
And you especially have to take that into account that Piedmont is playing down a man. Lost Davis Knight early in the second half. A big cross here, and throwing up the mitts and saving it now as he crashes to the ground is Haritos. Just mentioned that he's been on his game. He showed it right there. Like a good scoring opportunity for Vogel, but just really unable to stretch the neck out and complete the header. A collision there between two Lions. Both of them back to their feet quickly, though. Scene put the brakes on that one. Using that fancy footwork, and he's taken to the ground. You foul on Barry. And with the amount of fouls, I'm surprised you don't see a yellow there.
I was thinking the same thing. It seems like Barry's up against the wall. Maybe a strategic foul right there, but nonetheless, I mean, Lions are surging right now, and it's a good thing to see, especially in this is obviously striking distance for the Lions, as we saw earlier.
By the way, Mattis comes in for Nathan Jacome. And it looks like Grant as well is in the game, as a light drizzle begins to fall on the field. So, mentioned the rain, and a good scoring opportunity there goes by the wayside for the Lions as they'll set up for looks like a corner. But a very slight drizzle here, so just be aware we might have to change camera angles if it gets any harsher. Good cross, and a good save. Goal's open, and it's still alive. Hasina high kick trying to make it back inside, and this one looks like it'll be out of bounds. So close for the Lions. And as we have this break in action, we are going to go ahead and move the camera. Huge cross by Haritos. Cash on the header. Ruiz now, as they're on the left side of the pitch. Lion territory here. Vikings moving down the right side, deep into the corner. Now they move back towards midfield. This is deep, but Wood grabs it. High kick going into Viking territory. Needs some Lions to hop on this one, but it's going to find the midfield line. Oswady charging towards it, and it'll roll out. Looks like we got the camera changed for you, little folks. We should be safe from the rain now. Throw in for Piedmont. Header by Barry. Cash surrounded that ball and made sure that there would be no touch.
James Cash is such a smart player. I enjoyed watching him so much last year. He's everywhere.
Ricardo Ruiz, a good tackle there. Now Al Sweety.
Oh, my.
Good. My. A back foot pass to get it Ricardo. And a wide pass by Grant. And there's what you were talking about earlier with Grant just in between his passes tonight.
Well, also Grant and it's not going to. Yeah, goal kick. But Grant and Vogel are they're out of touch right now. Vogel wants it. He's running diagonally, and he wants the ball up the line. But Grant's trying to play it central to him with his back against the defense, but that's not. I'm sure he's going to recognize it at some point, but there's plenty of opportunity to be had, especially on that ball down the line, because that's where they're beating the Berry defense in the counterattack. Yeah. And it's been working all night. The Lions midfielders have been able to thread it through diagonally through the back line, and it's been working for them.
Deep into the box and out. So it'll set us up for another goal kick. Excuse me, this looks like it's going to be a corner. With 8 minutes and 40 seconds left, still a 1-1 game. Vikings across, and it's very long. And a whiff on that one. It's booted down the field. If Vogel can win this foot race, it'll be wide open. He slides it, trying to keep it in, but it's going to roll. I believe maybe it was out on that one. So Vogel unable to keep it in play, and it'll be a throw-in for the Vikings.
That's a great effort by Vogel. Vogel's known to do that. He can catch up to any ball that's in his reach, and even shorthanded. Lions are doing a good job to apply the pressure. They're getting deep into Berry territory, and you can't be mad at it. The effort's there.
And Berry certainly knows the weapons of Vogel, and they know how fast he is, and give them credit. They've done a tremendous job here in the second half to keep the ball away from him. As it looked like Mattis tried to back foot that one up into the air, but it'll escape him.
That would have been a tough touch to get for Mattis right there, and thankfully he didn't get it, and Lions are going to walk away with a goal kick right there.
Maybe a happy accident, if you will.
Yeah. Lions defense is still standing strong.
And it hasn't really wavered no matter the pieces that Coach Stevens has plugged in. We saw Bosick start the game. He's getting a rest right now. Mattis came out momentarily, albeit due to an injury. Cash did not start, but they're all playing pivotal roles here right now. Vogel trying in the corner, but it'll be put out, and it looks like that'll result in a corner kick.
And what's interesting about the substitutions that Coach Stevens is making is he's piecing guys together that have played with each other in the past. Like, you got the guys from last year, you have the guys from this year that are starting to gel and connect, and they're developing the chemistry. So when you can wholesale full groups and get similar guys, similar playing styles out there, then you can really start to see the evolution of the Piedmont team.
Chemistry always so important. And the Lions, an opportunity here. Corner. It's good, but unfortunately, right in line with Jaritos, and he throws a wide one. On that one, Ricardo Ruiz. Ruiz pacing down, tries to get it central. It'll be blocked up.
Jaritos has done a very good job of getting off the line and he's seeing the ball well when it's in the air, and he's attacking the ball because, I mean, you can't obstruct the keeper.
You know, you love to see some really good offense. You love to see the strikers go at it and the defense deflect it. But what we're seeing right now is a masterclass between two goalies who are good at their craft.
High-level goalkeeper play it's so much fun to watch.
They have really gone back and forth. And even though they might not say a word nor come within 5 feet of each other all match long, they are just eye to eye right now, it seems.
It's a lot of respect, too, especially from keeper to keeper. And in the line following the game, you'll see, I mean, they may spend a good bit of time together and congratulating each other on a well-played game. But it's not out of reach yet.
Not in the slightest. Both teams in striking distance of each other. But it seems like if there is going to be a winner here in this match by final decision, it's going to be who is going to be able to dominate possession in the final minutes rather than someone who might be able to go on a breakaway. Good goal kick. Off the head of Ruiz. Looks like Christy Pescaru in.
Shirley
as well.
Oh, what a hit.
Was an incredible hit by Yassine. Tried that long distance shot, but could not find the net. 4 minutes and 15 seconds left.
Now that could be an implication into the Lions offense is taking those shots. If nobody's going to play you, try and put one on frame. You got to test the keeper every now and again. And he hasn't seen anything from outside, really. That's the first time the Lions have pulled up from anywhere from outside of 18 yards.
Exactly correct. And Yassine was the one with that set piece that set up Jacomb's goal. And we know he's got that leg on him. We know he can make those types of plays. Shirley boots that one out. So, I mean, you're right. If he can perhaps wheel that ball somehow into a corner just out of reach of Haritos.
It's definitely possible. It's hard to track the ball, too, especially from distance.
Cross in off the corner kick and out.
Good use of the near post on the set piece right there.
And we'll do it again.
I think it was 25 who got his head on it.
Off the back of the head of the Vikings. And that was an incredible job. It looked like Shirley was on that one, just pressuring that member of the Barry Vikings to just kind of misplay that. The header was set up right for him, but he had to turn the back to make sure that the ball was going to be trapped by him. But kind of went off the back of his neck and went straight up into the air.
Shirley plays a great brand of defense, and that's obviously something that Coach Stevens preaches is a good brand of defense, and he does an excellent job.
Just another member of the Lions bench coming in and proving that no matter which pieces are plugged in, they are going to play that brand of defense.
And Shirley's one of the guys who settled into his role as the season progressed last year. He became a very important piece down the stretch, and speak of the devil, there he is.
An incredible tackle there. Just slows it up for the Vikings. And he's fresh. Bobby Wood on the other end of that. Ooh. Has a little trouble with that one as it looked to roll off his fingers, but he collects it. But he's a guy who he's played for the first few minutes now. He's fresh. A lot of these other guys, they've come in and they've come out. But getting a fresh set of legs on the defensive side, you're proving right there that he can just be anywhere. Barry on a potential breakaway. Cash and Ruiz on it. There's Shirley. Ruiz, a good block.
He's another one of those guys. He was a key player last year for Coach Stevens. Did an excellent job.
Nicey Vogel on the left side. Usually he's straight up the middle, but it looks like that the Lions have shifted their formation here a little bit as Pescaru has taken precedence over that middle, and Vogel is now found on the left side.
I think it's on purpose. They're trying to get Vogel the ball on the wing so he can just take it to the corner and potentially open up an opportunity.
This one rolls into Barry territory as the three defenders in the backfield will make the long pass between each other. Good block there by Yassine. Cash loses the ball momentarily but finds it again. Grant watches that one out. 45 seconds left. As if there's a decision, it'll come down to the wire. Maybe a little strategic there by Yassine, as yes, the ball's out and it will be a Barry throw in, but it's on their side. And the Barry goalkeeper will take it himself. Chip in. Header. Cross up and a good clear by Mattis. as this one's going to roll out. 10 seconds left now. Throw in by the Vikings. Asin, heads up. On top of the roof. We'll roll it back in.
Well, that's the first time it's ever gotten up there.
Long throw, and that's going to do it. So it's not a win, but against a team that has dominated the Lions in the past, I think you take a draw.
That's the first draw ever in the history between the two meetings. Throwback to a year ago in October, a 5-0 loss for the Lions. This is a. I don't want to throw around moral victory or just anything in that realm, but that is a much needed improvement for the Lions. The Lions are showing that they can hang with some of these more talented, older teams that are very good in their conference. Barry is an excellent team in the SAA, so I mean, it's a great win for the Lions, and it just heads held high and you move forward.
And you have to throw in the qualifier that they played with this much pressure, with this much ferocity in the second half without Davis Knight.
Yeah, and Davis Knight, he showed up. He was very, very big, especially in the later half of the first half. His motor he just continues to go, and he was getting up there. He's providing the pressure. He's doing an excellent job for the Lions up front. So the freshman's making his name known, and all the freshmen that are seeing minutes for Coach Stevens are going to be crucial moving down the stretch.
Bigger, faster, stronger, and perhaps younger for this squad. That's something else that Coach Steven mentioned, as the Lions will get a huge round of applause from the Piedmont faithful, and they deserve it. A humongous game and a huge measuring stick, and they have another test for them in front of them with Oglethorpe coming up.
And Johnson and Wales on Sunday. That's another time for the Lions to get in front of the home crowd and put on a show. And I don't know much about Johnson and Wales, but they're most likely a good team. Coach Stevens is really challenging his squad early on in the season, and that's really going to come into fruition as they move down the stretch and into the conference schedule. And that's big. You got to prepare them for what's to come. So we move to 2-1-0 on the season. Barry will go to 0-1-2 as they still unable to find that elusive first win for them. But the Lions have 2 under their belt already, and a draw against this team that history has favored on the other end. Certainly love to see it, as we've said multiple times, as the team will cool down on the field with some stretches and the rain begins to steadily fall a little bit more, but nothing beyond a sprinkle here. I'm impressed. This is the first game that I've got to watch of the Lions. The play style and the chemistry is very much like last year towards the later days, but my goodness, these guys are flying around the field. They look like they're having a good time. They're gelling. Chemistry is going to be there soon, and I mean, you got 18 days until the conference opener, so, and you open up on the road.
Yeah.
Actually, I take that back. End of September starts conference play.
And the Lions seem very comfortable here in the Lions Den. And when I first came here, this is my first year at Piedmont, and one of the things I wrote down in my pregame notes for I called my first game on Friday was fortify the Lions Den. Just make sure that this is a tough place to play for other teams. Even if you're not always going to win at home, but if you can just really put pressure on teams who are coming in here to just make it one just bad place to play for them.
Yeah, and it's been a thing for a long time. Women's soccer, people hate coming here to play, and they're going to get a little taste of it tomorrow afternoon.
Well, you mentioned it. Tomorrow afternoon, our next broadcast, I believe we'll be on at 2:50, or no, game starts at 2, correct?
Game starts at 2.
So we'll be on at 1:45 right here on YouTube, so make sure you go tell your Piedmont friends and family. But that's going to do us here tonight. Once again, your final score, a draw, 1-1. Piedmont goes to 2-1-0 on the season. And for Chad Hall, Danielle Percival, and the rest of our crew here tonight, this is Eric Edmondson saying, hope you have a wonderful evening. Come back and see us, and go Lions.